fam, welcome back. And today we getting into part 3 of this reunion. So we pick up in the middle of Mia and Jacqueline calls her unhinged and starts telling all this girl business. So first she says Mia was never the CEO of her company and it was actually Gordon. She pretty much owned up to that last week. So then they both start pulling out their receipts.
You ready? You ready?
We don't need all of this.
So Mia claims that she was with.
Are you sure?
She claims that she was with.
Jacqueline starts with her receipts first, and basically she shows something that proves that Mia once again lied. She lied about her whereabouts on Mother's Day because she said that she was with Jacqueline's mother, but actually she was meeting up with her ex's mom. How Gordon be wondering about her whereabouts, and he thinks she creeping. So then Andy asks Jacqueline if her and G had sex, and she says no, her and Mia didn't have sex either, and she feels like the ladies made this a bigger deal than what it was. No. The ladies did not make anything a bigger deal than what it was. Y'all kept volunteering that information to appear interesting. Nobody asked nor cared. And Jacqueline pretty much admitted that Mia made her lie about stuff so they could seem interesting. So yeah, don't do the gaslighting, Jacqueline. Just say you lied. So then he asked Jacqueline if she had slept with a married man before, since that's what Mia said, and she said no. That's her story. She's sticking to it. And Mia is sticking to the fact that she did. But Mia, where are the receipts, honey? You got a whole box of receipts. Where they at? The jury is still out on that one to me. I don't know who's lying about that one, but what I do know is if you're gonna bring a box of receipts out, use them. She pulled the box out and then put it right back. So clearly she ain't had no receipts. Then Andy asked Mia, well, why did you even expose the fact that she messes with married men? And Mia says, well, Jacqueline threw the first dig, and she did. I said that in my review. You threw the first dig about her needing some D, so she said what she said. And then Mia starts explaining about how the she needs some D dig was a little deeper than what we thought because Gordon has prostate cancer and their sex life has suffered. And I don't think we needed to know all of that. I think Jacqueline has exposed enough of y'all business. Like, you don't need to help her. So then they go on about, pretty much every lie that they told this season, and they start admitting that they're lies. Like Jacqueline getting the Porsche from G, or G putting the down payment on a Porsche or something like that. Jacqueline brings her receipt and shows that she completely paid for that and it's in her name. And I'm done with Jacqueline too at this point because I just feel like everybody came to this reunion admitting that they just lied and made stuff up. Jacqueline was cool with the lying until she realized the lying would be at her expense and it would make her look like a little puppet or a little lapdog. She was okay with lying until it was at her expense. So I don't necessarily feel bad for her either. So yeah, they admit to lying for a storyline. And that's the end of the Jacqueline segment. Yeah, I was kind of done with her at that point because y'all done sat here and lied about everything. You over here crying and crying to us like you some sort of victim. Girl, bye. So Charisse comes out after Jacqueline, and about time, Karen finally has a moment. Karen really could have been at the end of the couch. Like they could have gave Candace first seed, Mia second, and Karen could have been on the end, to be honest. Well, I forgot about Robin. Well, yeah, they wasn't gonna sit Robin beside Karen. Well, they could have did Candace, Robin, Mia, and then Karen. Basically, they could have shifted everybody over and moved Karen to the end because she gave the absolute least. And she told us that in the beginning, by the way. She did say she was going to chill at this reunion and she was going to only speak when necessary. But in that case, you don't need to be in the first seat. So Charisse comes out. He asked Karen why she wasn't open to Charisse and why she wants nothing to do with her. And Karen is like, listen, we done talked about this a million times. I'm not about to keep repeating myself. I am respectfully going to disengage from this conversation. So, Charisse go ahead and answers the question. So as she's talking, Karen starts filing her nails.
But being that I have been, well, she always has her theatrics.
Okay, I enjoy it.
Being that
I got dinner
I've been
tonight.
to...
Karen has made it a point to look uninterested whenever Charisse or Robin talks. And it's funny. I don't really think Andy liked how much dust Karen was paying Charisse. He told Karen, to be very clear, we called her. And I come on this show for the sole purpose of taking you down. She didn't even call us. We call her. And then they start bringing up how it's kind of fake of Karen because she invited Charisse to other events after the funeral. And that is a little weird. I don't care if she was on her way or not. If I don't like you, you're not coming to my birthday party. It does seem a little weird that she was invited to all of these events, but then she's on the show and you acting like y'all got issues. I do get it. Like, she just don't F with Sharice. I get it. She just don't mess with her. I get it. But if you just don't mess with her, don't invite her to your events. So then he gets on Sharice. They start talking about the rumor from the finale about, like, the restaurant owner or the brother of the restaurant owner or something like that. We already knew it wasn't true. Sharice basically was like, well, you said something about me, so I said something about you. So everybody, like I said, everybody just admitting to lying. Everybody pretty much just admitted to lying and making stuff up this season. You started a rumor about her because you felt like she started a rumor about you. That's childish. What did Karen even say about Sharice? What did she say? I know what she could have said. Did y'all hear what Katie just did a few days ago when she exposed that she slept with Sharice and she told Karen first? Karen knew. Karen could have brought that up. She didn't. Like, you're mad at the wrong person. Wasn't it Gizelle? Gizelle was the one who told everybody you was messing with the fireman. Karen has never said anything about your sex life. So then we move on to Robin. And Andy is like, finally, finally, after 7 seasons, after 3 years of engagement, about time y'all got married. Gizelle was very bothered that she wasn't invited to the wedding, and that was shocking. That was very shocking to me. It's not like y'all was in Jamaica. And then she also talks about how they did the prenup, and what they finally agreed on was to split everything 50-50. And then she also doesn't get the infidelity clause. And I immediately thought, well, that's probably the only way he would marry her. Because when she first brought up that infidelity clause, he was not here for it. It's kind of pointless to have a prenup to me at that point. Because if it's 50-50, ain't that what happens when you don't have a prenup anyway? They get half. On top of that, you didn't get the infidelity clause that you wanted. So this man can just cheat, and still walk away with half. This is how she made it make sense in her head. In her head, taking that out benefits the both of them, just in case she want to cheat too. If that's what helps you sleep at night, okay. Even Gizelle looked shocked when she said that. Like, that made no sense. They go into Karen and how she insinuated that he was cheating with this blonde that looks like her. Karen admitted she was being messy and she apologized. Then he talks about family flop day and how everybody dragged her for that, audience and the ladies included, and it was deserved. He asked her, about not inviting Wendy's kids. She swears up and down if it was the other way around, she wouldn't have taken offense to it. Then he brings up the lawsuit that Juan is currently going through, which I didn't know if they was going to talk about that or not. And of course, Robin is going to say it's not true. Of course. She claims that he's being used as clickbait to push the story. So it's finally time for the husbands. And Chris said he got the smoke for everybody. Anybody who want it can get it. We start with Eddie. Andy asked Eddie about all of Wendy's business ventures and who pays for them. And Eddie said he paid for them, as he should. Well, not as he should, but what's the problem with it? I don't even know why that was a question. Who cares? He asked Gordon about Mia's health scare, and Gordon starts getting emotional. And I don't know why, because wasn't it just a rash? I don't want to say it was fake. I don't want to discredit anything that they probably went through going back and forth to the doctors, but it was a rash. Like, I don't think y'all were going through that much. So then he asked Gordon if him and Jacqueline have a sexual relationship, and he said that he looks at her like a little sister. But in the beginning, Mia said that was like his wife, right? That was like his second wife without the intimacy. Then we move on to Chris. It's about time we get to these rumors. And the first thing I want to talk about is Chris admitted that he did invite Gizelle to the room. Why have you been lying about that this entire time? Like I said last week, this doesn't take away from the story. I don't think that means that Gizelle was right. I don't think that he did anything inappropriately, but why lie about that small detail? I get that he probably feels like admitting to the things that she said would probably make him look guilty because of the way that she phrases it, or maybe she took it and exaggerated it. But the way to handle that is not to lie, because now both of y'all lying. Chris said Gizelle invited him to the room, but now you're admitting that you did it. But he also made a great point. Yes, he did the inviting, but once you got to the room and you saw nobody was in there, you didn't have to stay in here. Chris starts going off, this has impacted his businesses. He's had to answer to people for this. This is really affected his life, so he's pissed. So they are demanding answers from Gizelle because she's not really being specific about the situation. So they're asking her exactly what happened. What exactly did I do to make you feel uncomfortable? Like, what was it? So Gizelle brings up the fact that Chris was drunk and they were alone in the room, and that made her feel uncomfortable. But that's not really saying what he did. And they kept emphasizing that to her, that those are your feelings. That's not something that Chris did to you. That is something that you felt. So if that is something that you felt, he shouldn't have to apologize for your feelings because he didn't do anything to you. This is just a mess because they don't agree on anything. They don't agree on any of the details. They don't agree on whether the door was open or closed. They don't agree on what Gizelle had on. And up until this point, I would have believed that Gizelle was lying about everything, but Chris did lie about inviting her in the room. So I don't know. I don't think Chris did anything. I don't think Chris likes Gizelle. I don't think anything inappropriate happened. But as far as like the details of the story, I don't know. It's up in the air because clearly they both lying. But then Chris turns them tables, honey, because Gizelle is always talking about his private areas. And she makes it a point to let everybody know the color of his privates. Pretty much like, girl, you make me feel uncomfortable all the time. But did I need to say that for a storyline? No. I feel like they had to tell her this so many times and she still didn't get it. They had to keep saying, Chris didn't actually do anything. These were your feelings. So as Chris is explaining this to her, he's saying, I ain't do nothing to you. I don't need to apologize to you for anything. Giselle listen, I ain't never heard Giselle stutter so much. She was like, who did it then?
Who did it? Who should we say did it then?
So I feel like, at this point, Gizelle knows that she is caught. So she's about to apologize for the sneaky leak comment. But Candace kind of interrupts and is like, you didn't apologize. And it was like, yeah, because she said she's about to apologize. She didn't say she apologized. Honestly, I know a lot of people probably had an issue with Chris checking her in the moment. He wasn't checking her. She just didn't hear what Gizelle said. She thought Gizelle said, I apologize. Gizelle said, I am apologizing. Gizelle was saying, okay, I'm going to apologize for that then. Candace took that as she said, I already apologized. And she didn't say that. So all Chris did was correct what she heard because she heard it wrong. I don't know why y'all took that as him checking Candace. He didn't check her. That wasn't checking her. She heard Gizelle wrong. Candace wasn't really listening. She wasn't really listening. And I get the frustration, but like at some point we have to get somewhere in the conversation. You can't demand an apology and then be unforgiving when you get the apology. If you don't feel like the apology is genuine, fine. Stop asking her to apologize then. I get it. I get you're angry. I get it. But do you want an apology or not? Make your mind up. I feel like Chris was actually trying to get to the bottom of the situation and Candace was just trying to read. He then explains why he waited until after the party to DM Gizelle. And I get that now. At first, I was just like, why would you wait until you were off camera to do that? But when he explained it, I get it. But you didn't want to take away yet another one of Candace's moments with this BS. I completely understand that because I feel like we were cheated out of Candace's real story this season. She got her MBA. She was going through an IVF journey. She had a song with Trina. All of that stuff got overshadowed by these lies. So I get why he did that now. So then Candace goes off. She called her a gutter snipe, trifling, trash. She ain't got no soul. She said everything she could. Then she decided to say that Gizelle is the reason that women cannot come forward with their allegations. When she said that the first time, I didn't agree. I still don't agree when she said it this time. And then she also said her privilege allows her to get away with claims because of her white passing skin.
You are the reason that women cannot come forward with sexual assault and sexual misconduct allegations. Because you sit up here with your privileged, white-looking ass and you think you can say whatever the you want to say and no one is going to bat an eyelash.
Wait. Okay, great. That's a little far.
And at this point, Candace is the only one making this about color. Everyone kind of chimed in and told her that was too far. And Wendy said it best. She politely checked her and just told her to be mindful of the things that you say out of your mouth. It not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. It's not about what you say. It's how you say it.
I know we just had the colorism conversation. And one of the takeaways was for us to be mindful of the words we choose. Candace, I love you. You're my girl. I got your back forever. You had stated something about her white skin. I know you're angry, but I just want you to consider, on the heels of that conversation, just what that may imply.
I understand what it implied.
And Candace seemed very unapologetic about it. She kind of explained what she meant. She has a great point, but she kind of lost me when she kind of used not liking Gizelle as a reason for that to be okay. That's kind of hypocritical because we didn't like when Gizelle said that about Wendy. Candace does take things too far sometimes. She does. I don't know why it's so hard for y'all to admit that. Everybody defended when she made that comment. It was too far. I don't know why it's so hard for y'all to admit that Candace goes too far sometimes. Just because she was the one that was wronged in the situation does not give her the right to say whatever she wants out of her mouth or handle the situation any way she wants. I don't know why y'all feel that way, but you really do them a disservice when you tell them stuff like that. This is why she just got sued by Michael. You can't say whatever you want out of your mouth. So Ashley kind of chimed in and she made a great point. She was like, so everything we just talked about doesn't matter? And Candace went, it does matter. And Ashley was like, oh, so it matters, but it just doesn't apply to you.
So our conversation meant nothing?
Oh, the conversation still stands.
Okay.
But
it doesn't apply to you, though?
with it,
So everybody else got to watch their mouth but you. We can't keep screaming colorism every time Candace gets called out for being reckless with her mouth. It's kind of counterproductive to the movement, in my opinion. So then they move on to the night where Mia and Wendy allegedly hooked up or whatever. And actually, what happened was everybody showed their coochies, which is funny because Ashley definitely left that detail out when she was telling Gizelle in the bridal shop. She didn't mention that she showed her cooch as well. I also find it funny how well they get along off camera. Like Andy said, y'all get on camera and fight and drag each other to the pits of hell, and then y'all get off camera and go show each other y'all coochies. That's weird. Then we move on to Karen and Ray. Andy asks Ray what he thinks about the whole situation, what has been coming up about Karen this season, about cheating and the picture and all of that. And Ray basically said that he was disappointed in all of the ladies and how they carried out these rumors. Karen was like, that don't answer the question. Address the cheating part. Basically, she was saying, please let these people know I'm not cheating on you. So they start talking about the photo that Karen still has not seen. Andy saw the photo, and even he can't confirm that it was Karen. Nobody can confirm it was Karen. Nobody wants to show Karen the picture. So as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't Karen. Robin asked Karen if she was implying that Juan sexually assaulted her. Karen said no, but he just needs to keep his hands to himself. I don't care for Robin at all. But one thing she can do is get Karen together. And Karen can get her together too. They can get each other together. I feel like she was calling Karen out this entire reunion on her hypocrisy, and she was right. That would be to the same extent of what Gizelle said about Chris. The only difference is Karen didn't decide to make it a storyline, but it is to the same extent. That's pretty much the end of the reunion. They end with Candace's song, and nobody seems to know the words, not even her most loyal friend, Robin Dixon. So finally, we get to this extended clip of Watch What Happens Live. Andy gets straight into it. Andy pretty much asks her to clarify why there was a hotel receipt with Juan's name on it. And y'all know I've already reacted to the interview with the alleged mistress. And Robin pretty much told us the same story she's been saying. Juan was communicating with a girl from Canada. She flew into town to see her boyfriend who plays for the Baltimore Ravens. She was going to meet him at a hotel, or she was at her hotel, whoever was going to be at this hotel. And she didn't have her money. She lost it. So Juan went and paid for the hotel, and not her boyfriend that she flew in town to see. She swears nothing physical happened, and Andy was like, and you believe that? Then Andy gets right into it again. He goes, you're on a reality show about your life where infidelity is like the biggest topic. It always seems to be a storyline. So how did you conveniently forget to mention yours? And do y'all know this goof said she was waiting on Karen to bring it up? Why would you wait on somebody else to spill your tea for you? Wouldn't it be better for you to take the power of the narrative for you to tell your own business before somebody else tell it for you? That is so dumb. That is so dumb. But I get what's going on here. Of course, she never had any intentions on bringing it up, and she's just making up excuses. But my thing is, if you're going to lie, you need to come up with better lies than this. So then he goes on to say how Candace felt betrayed because her husband was pretty much used as the sacrificial lamb of the season to help cover up Robin's mess. And this is supposed to be her most loyalist best friend. She had all the excuses in the world. She was like, well, I was waiting on Karen to bring it up. And then on top of that, it had already happened like a little bit before filming. So it wasn't really going on while we were filming. So I don't know why I would talk about, like, she just had every excuse she could think of. But Andy was not letting up. He was like, well, this is one of the reasons that your wedding was pushed back. Everybody was asking you about this wedding. So that was like the perfect time to tell us why your wedding was pushed back. Once again, this lady cannot keep Karen's name out of her mouth. And she goes, well, Karen was the only one who asked. Everybody asked. Karen lives in this lady's head rent-free. She blamed everything on Karen. This was a horrible interview. They could have kept that. So as far as my final thoughts on the season, they need to get rid of a few people. This was their worst season, in my opinion. I feel like Mia and Robin can go. Charisse can go. And we can bring Katie back. Clearly, Katie wants to be back on the show. Because she been tweeting it up. But yeah, I think for next season, if they want to keep it at 7 girls, they need to get rid of Mia and Robin. So that would leave what? Candace, Wendy, Gizelle, Karen, Ashley, bring Katie back, and maybe a new girl. I need a fresh face. And then make all the friends new girls too. I need some fresh faces in Potomac. I'm sick of these ladies just lying and making stories up. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Overall, the season itself was trash, the worst season ever, but the reunion was one of the best reunions ever. So yeah, very polarizing season. So that is the end of the Potomac reviews for right now. I enjoyed these reviews. I had fun doing this. Y'all let me know y'all final thoughts on the season, what y'all thought about the reunion, all of y'all final thoughts on Potomac in the comment section down below. Stay happy, healthy, and all of that good stuff, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.